Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Here's a look at what's lined up for you on the show tonight. It is the 26th of January, a day of great importance for India, a day to celebrate the Indian Republic, to honor the day on which the Indian Constitution came into being. The same Constitution that guarantees equality and justice in all spheres of life. And today, on the 75th Republic Day of India, those values found center stage. Women's power swept the Indian Republic. India is proud of its Nari Shakti or women power, and this was on full display today. Every year, India celebrates the Republic Day with a spectacular parade. It features tableau showcasing India's diversity, military might, cultural heritage. And today, the parade highlighted the prowess of the country's women. At least 26 tableaux put the spotlight on women, on their strength, and on the incredible strides that they have made in the fields of defense and technology, among others. Renowned scientist Sunita Jaina led the tableau of India's Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO. It essentially highlighted how women are bolstering India's security through advanced defense technologies.
झांकी जिसमें रक्षा में आत्मनिर्भरता के लिए प्रयासरत इस संगठन में महिलाओं के झांकी का सुनीता देवी जेना.
She was involved in the development of the indigenously made liquid ramjet technology, a groundbreaking achievement. Scientists P. Lakshmi Madhavi, J. Sujana Chaudhary and A. Bhuvaneshwari were also part of the DRDO's tableau. Models of systems developed by the DRDO were displayed on the tableau. This included the Agni 5 and the ASAT missiles.
और अब कर्तव्य पथ पर झांकी में डीआरडीओ में महिलाओं की भागीदारी को भूमि, वायु, समुद्र और साइबर अंतरिक्ष में दिखाया गया है. झांकी में कई मिसाइल प्रणालियों को भी देखा जा सकता है. भागीदारी को दर्शाया गया है. नेतृत्व कर रही हैं इस झांकी का सुनीता देवी जेना.
Just a quick backgrounder here. The ASAT missile used in Mission Shakti. It was India's anti-satellite missile test conducted on the 27th of March 2019. It was a major breakthrough in demonstrating India's precision strike capability. India, remember, is the 4th country in the world to acquire such a specialized and modern capability. And the Agni 5? Well, it is the most advanced surface-to-surface ballistic missile built by India. It is capable of striking targets with high degree of accuracy. From an anti-satellite missile to a third-generation anti-tank guided missile and light combat aircraft Tejas, the DRDO's tableau highlighted the contribution of its women scientists in core areas of defense research.
लिक्विड टेक्नोलॉजी का विकास किया है. स्वदेशी डीआरडीओ की झांकी समुद्र और साइबर अंतरिक्ष में दिखाया गया है. झांकी में कई मिसाइल प्रणालियों को भी देखा जा सकता. झांकी का सुनीता देवी जेना एक बहुत ही प्रतिभाशाली वैज्ञानिक और गाइडेड मिसाइल्स की.
The parade also marked a historic moment. This year's parade showcased 2 all-women contingents from the armed forces, including 144 personnel. For the first time, an all-women contingent of the Army, the Air Force and the Navy marched down the Kartavya Path. Women pilots left everyone in awe with their flypast. The contingents of the Central Armed Police Forces, or CAPF, also consisted of only women personnel.
अब सलामी मंच के सामने पीस कीपर्स ऑफ द नेशन के नाम से जाना जाता है.
From the tri-services led by Captain Sandhya of the military police. This team includes Agniveers and regular recruits. Though they underwent rigorous training and practice in their individual areas, they have successfully managed.
And the Delhi police contingent also proudly featured women personnel.
Deputy Commissioner of Police, Shweta Sugatan, leading the smartly red safa-clad women officers down Kartavya Path to the tune of the Delhi police song.
This year, the theme of the parade centered around India, Mother of Democracy, and Viksit Bharat, Developed India. It highlights the country's commitment to democratic principles and its ambition for progress. The parade showcased the multifaceted roles that women play in India's defense forces. Women officers also led to the display of India's arsenal. India's Swati weapon locating radar and Pinaka rocket system were touted in the parade.
Rocket launcher system is an indigenously designed, developed and manufactured medium-range, all-weather, free-flight artillery rocket system. Fully automated, this offensive weapon system with each launcher.
Squadron leader Rashmi Thakur, along with her team, led the Indian Air Force marching contingent, a show of the diverse roles that women hold in the armed forces.
Incidentally, Sumita Yadav had participated in the Bastille Day parade as well.
And along with the armed forces, Indian states also showcased their culture in the parade. And this year, the state of Manipur also celebrated its women power, their tableau showing a unique market located in the capital city of Manipur that is run entirely by female traders. It is called Imakethel, which translates to Mother's Market. Established around 500 years ago, the market is run by around 6,000 women vendors. The tableau showed women collecting lotus stems from the iconic Loktak Lake, one of the largest lakes in northeast India. Women were shown rowing boats and collecting the delicacy. It's an important example of women power. And with this tableau as well, Manipur highlighted women's central role in the economic development of the society. And of course, the women's role in the arts was also on full display. For the first time, the parade was heralded by over 100 women artists. They played Indian musical instruments like the shankh and nagara. Other states like Odisha and Maharashtra also showcased the integral role of women in developmental projects. They highlighted the participation of women across sectors, from small-scale industries to modern service sector industries. And notably, the tableau of Ladakh showcased India's women's ice hockey team. Overall, a remarkable show of strengths of India's daughters. And what better occasion than the country's Republic Day to honor their contribution and take pride in it. After all, societies in which women see persistent growth are the ones that truly prosper.
इसमें शामिल समन्वय, साहस, समावेशिता का बेजोड़ प्रदर्शन.
The human pyramid Hermit, formed by Constable Vandana Yadav and 47 others. Creative choreography, innovative postures.
Is the war in Ukraine winding down? The biggest reason why Russia attacked Ukraine was its wish to join the NATO. But it seems like the Russian President Vladimir Putin might be opening up to this idea. Is he testing the waters with the US to engage in peace talks? Now, reports say the Russian president is sending indirect signals that he is open to coming to the talking table. Reports say he conveyed this to US officials last month through an intermediary. Sources close to the Kremlin have claimed that Putin may be willing to abandon his opposition to Ukraine's NATO membership. And why is that? Because of Russia's advantage in the war. Ukraine, as per these claims, has been geographically reduced. Ukraine has also largely failed to win back the territory that Russia annexed as per these claims. This is far short of Putin's ambitions to dominate Ukraine. And in the public eye, Vladimir Putin still maintains that Russia's war goals have not changed. But that is not what's happening behind the scenes. As I said, as a part of the back-channel diplomacy, as it is being claimed, Putin has sent out a message that he is ready to make a deal. It seems like he is satisfied with what Russia has achieved, or so he wants to portray. And so he wants to declare his victory and simply move on. Putin's openness to talk, even if it's disingenuous, can sow division among Ukraine's allies because the war has stretched for far more than it was expected to. Ukraine has outrightly denied Russia's control over its territory. Zelensky wants the annexed regions back, and he will not accept any peace deal that does not ensure that. The US, meanwhile, is banking on Ukraine to decide when to negotiate and how. The question is, for how long will the US keep up this support? It already has run out of aid and ammunition to send. How long before it runs out of patience as well? Russia, on the other hand, has shifted its economy to a war footing. It has supplies of weapons lined up from Iran and North Korea. Ukraine's hopes of pushing Russian troops back seem to be fading. It has abandoned hopes of a swift victory and is bracing up for a drawn-out war. How so? By defending what Ukraine has left. The country has little choice after its counteroffensive failed. Kiev has acknowledged this reality. Last month, President Volodymyr Zelensky declared that a new phase has set in. Is it a phase of defense? It sure seems like that. You see, after his troops failed to recapture land in southern Ukraine, Zelensky ordered the army to build new fortifications along the key segments of its front line. And this signals a major shift from an offensive to a defensive posture. Kiev plans to focus on defending and rebuilding what it has instead of trying to retake what it lost. And this might give Ukraine and its allies time to build up their industrial base, train reserves, increase manpower and boost artillery production capacity, and if things go as planned, to resume an offensive campaign in 2025. That's right, 2025. Reports say that this aligns with the strategy that the US is selling to Ukraine. In the meantime, Washington wants Ukrainian troops to continue looking for weak spots in Russian defenses and exploit them at the right time. But will it come down to that? Could the war spill into the next year? Through the back channels, the Russian president seems to be hinting at peace talks. But will that actually happen? In just a few months from now, India will be heading to the polls. Prime Minister Modi's party, the BJP, has already kick-started its election campaign. If the focus on 2019 was on its performance in the eastern states, in 2024, the focus is on expanding its footprint in the south, it seems. It is looking like the plan is already on, in fact. And I say that because some of the greatest icons from the south have received extraordinary honors. I'm talking about Chiranjeevi, Vijayantimala. Both have been conferred the Padma Vibhushan award. It is the second highest civilian award of India. It is awarded to those who have displayed exceptional and distinguished service. The announcement came a day before the Republic Day. And for our global audience, Chiranjeevi and Vijayantimala are mega stars in India. Chiranjeevi, who made his silver screen debut in 1978, has dominated the Telugu screens for nearly 5 decades. And that's no small feat. He is among the most influential and successful actors. He has worked in Telugu, Hindi, Tamil, Kannada movies. Best known for his movies Vijeta, Indra. He was most recently seen in the movie Bhola Shankar. Not only is his impact on the silver screen huge, Chiranjeevi is also known for his philanthropy. He established the Chiranjeevi Charitable Trust, which includes blood and eye banks in Indian cities. And due to its contribution, the trust has also won many awards. In the year 2008, the actor entered politics by forming the Praja Rajyam Party, which later merged with the Indian National Congress. He also served as the Union Minister of State for Tourism with independent charge from 2012 to 2014. This is Chiranjeevi's second Padma Award. In the year 2006, he was awarded the Padma Bhushan, India's third highest civilian honor. And reacting to the news, Chiranjeevi released a video message thanking the fans for their love and support. He also thanked the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi for honoring him with this prestigious award.
After hearing this news, I became speechless. I'm really overwhelmed. I'm humbled and grateful for this honor. It's only the unconditional and invaluable love of the people, audiences, my fans, my blood brothers and blood sisters that allowed me to reach here. I owe my life and this moment to you. I always try to express my gratitude in ways that I can, though I know I can never do enough.
And Vijayantimala, beginning her cinematic journey from Tamil cinema, Vijayantimala swiftly transitioned to Hindi cinema, dominating Bollywood in the 50s and 60s. She has, however, never let her acting career overpower the classical dancer in her. From playing a village belle in the movie Ganga Jamuna, to a courtesan in Amrapali, to an urban woman in Sangam, Vijayantimala oozed charisma on the screen, captivating the audience with her eyes that could express multiple emotions. She is the first female superstar of India. She also entered politics. This was in the 1980s. She contested from Chennai in the 1984 elections. She became a parliamentarian the following year. And later, in 1999, she joined the BJP. Both Chiranjeevi and Vijayantimala have massive following. And no surprises then, speculation is already rife that the ruling party may be trying to woo South Indian voters as India heads to what is sure to be a hotly contested general election. And for those of you following the politics in India, this will not come as a surprise. Prime Minister Modi's party has been wooing Chiranjeevi for a while. The BJP has already secured the Hindi heartland, securing victory in the recently held polls in the key Indian states. The only thing left to do is secure the same firm footing in South India. Having star power on its side would help the BJP win the polls in the southern states. And what better way to do it than to get those on board who have the following of the masses. And as is the case in India, film stars and cricketers are more popular than a lot of politicians. Barring the state of Karnataka, the BJP has made limited gains in the southern states. In the past 8 years of Prime Minister Modi's rule, here regional politics sometimes overtaking national politics. The regional satraps have a very strong grasp on power. Naturally, the BJP faces a big challenge in countering them. As of now, only 29 of the 130 MPs who come from South India belong to the BJP. The party would want to expand and is already looking to bolster its organizational strength in South India. Meanwhile, the opposition in India, well, they are yet to enter the election battlefield. Forget about entering the contest. The mega alliance of the opposition parties seems to be falling apart. The architect of the opposition bloc, Nitish Kumar, is set to ditch the camp. Reports say he could cross over to the BJP. And if that happens, it will be a massive blow for the Congress party. The mega alliance of opposition parties is led by the Congress party, its sole objective being to defeat the Modi juggernaut. But with key allies on their way out, is the dream over before the election season even begins? We will, of course, be tracking the developments very closely.
Israel must take measures within its power to prevent and punish the commit genocide in relation to the members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip.
After 3 months of relentless bombing, after over 26,000 Palestinians have lost their lives, after 1.9 million Gazans have been displaced, the World Court has found Israel accountable. In its first ruling in the genocide case, the International Court of Justice has ordered Israel to take all necessary actions to prevent genocide in Gaza. The World Court did not, however, order Israel to cease its military operation against Hamas.
The court is also of the view that Israel must take measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to the members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip.
The ruling on a case brought by South Africa, the World Court said Israel must take measures to improve the humanitarian situation for Palestinian civilians in the enclave. And in the ruling, 15 of the 17 judges in the ICJ panel voted for emergency measures. It covered most of what South Africa asked for, with the notable exception of ordering a halt to Israeli military action. Israel's military operation has laid waste to much of the densely populated enclave. In nearly 4 months of the war, more than 26,000 Gazans have lost their lives. Over 64,000 have been injured. Israel unleashed its assault on Gaza after a cross-border rampage on the 7th of October by Hamas. In Israel, 1,200 people were killed there, mostly civilians. 240 were taken hostage by the Hamas group. In its ruling, the World Court said that it was gravely concerned about the fate of the hostages in Gaza. It also called on Hamas as well as other armed groups to immediately release the hostages without conditions. The court has said Israel must report back to it on what steps it was taking in a month's time. But here's the drawback. While the ICJ's decisions are final and without appeal, the court has no way to enforce them. The court did not rule at this stage on the core of the case brought by South Africa, which is whether genocide has occurred in Gaza. However, it did recognize the right of the Palestinians to be protected from acts of genocide. Israel, remember, had demanded that the court throw out the entire case, calling it spurious. Now, after the ruling, the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, rejected the charge of genocide as outrageous. He said Israel would continue to defend itself, saying, and I'm quoting, like every country, Israel has the basic right to defend itself. The World Court in The Hague justly rejected the outrageous demand to deprive us of this right. But the mere claim that Israel is committing genocide against Palestinians is not only false, it is outrageous, and the willingness of the court to even discuss this is a disgrace that will not be erased for generations. Meanwhile, South Africa hoped Israel would comply with Friday's World Court order. The Justice Minister, Ronald Lamola, said in an interview that South Africa's liberation hero Nelson Mandela would be smiling in his grave.
It is a victory for the international rule of law, that there could be no exceptionalism in any part of the world, and Israel cannot be accepted from complying with its international obligation. And we are hopeful that they will be compliant with the court order. They will respond. They will be able to cease fire. They will also allow a humanitarian intervention, because this case is about the children and the vulnerable women and the elderly of Gaza. The people of Gaza, I do believe that this for them is a victory. We believe that former President Mandela will be smiling in his grave as one of the advocates for the Genocide Convention, and our current president for allowing us to take this matter forward.
India is arming the Philippines with BrahMos, the world's fastest supersonic cruise missile. In the next 10 days, its ground systems will reach the Philippines, followed by the missiles in March. This is the first ever export order of the all-powerful BrahMos. Now the Philippines will have it in its arsenal. Should China watch out? Our next report getting you more.
The deal was struck long back. The time has come to deliver. What will be in the consignment? The world's fastest supersonic cruise missile, BrahMos. India is all set to deliver its first ever order of BrahMos in the next 10 days. Its ground systems will reach the Philippines. The Marines of the Southeast Asian country will soon be equipped with 3 batteries of the missiles. The deal is worth $365 million, and it is the first of its kind. It's a milestone for both India and the Philippines. For India, because it is the Defence Research and Development Organization's biggest ever foreign export agreement. And the Philippines, because it will have today's Brahmastra in its arsenal. Yes, Brahmastra, a potent weapon mentioned in Hindu scriptures. As the law goes, this weapon has the potential to destroy the whole universe. For ages, it has been talked about in books and plays. And BrahMos is as close as it gets to Brahmastra. Just look at what the missile is capable of. It can fly at almost 3 times the speed of sound. This makes the missile almost impossible to intercept. It has a range of around 300 to 500 kilometers. This is way more than most cruise missiles. It can carry a 250 kilogram submunition. And lastly, the BrahMos is also nuclear capable. A full throttle preemptive nuclear strike can put out the enemy's offensive capability. Now BrahMos has many forms. It can be ship-based, land-based, air-launched and submarine-based. Which one exactly is the Philippines getting? The shore-based anti-ship variant. The deal highlights that Philippines is trying to strengthen its defense capabilities. As it should. You see, the Southeast Asian country has long faced a delicate task, that is, of navigating the competing interests of Beijing and Washington. Over the last year, the defense partnership between the Philippines and the US grew stronger. There were also multiple maritime standoffs between China and Philippine vessels. In the South China Sea, just last month, Chinese Coast Guard water-cannoned a Philippine boat. In such a scenario, the Philippines is trying to modernize its military capabilities. Not only is it procuring BrahMos, the country is also eyeing the American HIMARS MLRS. and the M142 high mobility rocket artillery system. Army Chief Romeo Bronner himself announced that last year, apart from that, the Philippines also seeks to acquire 7 ALH Mark III choppers from India. The helicopter is equipped with the high-tech surveillance radar. It can detect and identify ships and boats up to a range of 120 nautical miles. Besides that, these helicopters can also be used for long-range search and rescue operations. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
The list of threats posed by artificial intelligence is long, and among them, deep fakes feature prominently. And the latest victim of deep fakes is none other than pop sensation Taylor Swift. The singer is in the news courtesy deep fakes, multiple sexually inappropriate and offensive images generated via artificial intelligence are doing the rounds on a social media platform, X, formerly known as Twitter. They have since been removed for violating the social media platform's rules. Some of the photos which went viral showed the singer in explicit poses during a match. The singer, remember, has been attending several NFL matches this season, but the viral images were not generated just yesterday. The pictures actually originated on an AI celebrity porn website on the 15th of January. And they've gone viral on social media. Swifties, or the fans of Taylor Swift, stood in full support of the singer. They even tried to hide the trending subject, Taylor Swift AI, with unrelated posts. Sadly, this is not the first time a celebrity deepfake video has gone viral. Even in India, A-listers like Alia Bhatt, Katrina Kaif, Kajol, Rashmika Mandanna have fallen prey to the dangers of artificial intelligence. But the question still remains, how and when will this stop? With AI increasingly becoming a part of our lives, the threats are only going to increase. Just how paranoid and insecure is Xi Jinping? Well, given what the country is telling its citizens, the paranoia seems to have reached a whole new level. We have told you earlier about China's Ministry of State Security. It has been waging a war against the threats posed by foreign spies and warning the citizens about the same. And in the latest, the ministry has issued a warning. Beware of exotic beauties trying to lure you. That is the message that China has for its citizens. In fact, the ministry has put out a post on the platform WeChat. You know what the title reads? Hunting for beauty, you may become the prey. According to the ministry, a Chinese man called Li Si was blackmailed by foreign spies. This was after he visited a nightclub during a trip overseas. What else do we know about what really happened? The ministry claims in the post that Li Si was being tracked. He was photographed after some foreigners in uniform entered his room and photographed him while he was naked, and he was then blackmailed and pressurized to be a part of their intel organization. Not just that, it says that because this man named Li Si was scared, he ended up giving them his work laptop, which meant that classified information was handed over to a spy organization. And this, by the way, did not end with Li Si's arrival back in China. He was still being pressurized to pass on classified information. That is what the ministry has claimed. Essentially, it has highlighted the risks related to honey traps while stressing on how Li Si ended up harming China's national security. So what happened to the man? He was arrested. But you see, this is just one part of the story. The ministry has been going on an overdrive to warn the people against espionage attempts. You know what else it has been up to? The Ministry of State Security earlier published a post titled "Countering Espionage Requires the Mobilization of All Members of the Society," basically wanting people to participate in counter-espionage work, encouraging people to inform about suspected foreign spies, calling on all members of the society to join in its fight against espionage. We earlier told you how Beijing's top universities had, in addition to their syllabus, it was nothing to do with science or economics or any other subject that you can area that you can think of. It was to do with spying. You heard that right. In fact, a crash course on how to catch spies. This was after Xi Jinping chaired a National Security Council meeting, as per reports, and emphasized on the significance of what was called extreme case scenario thinking. Basically, China wants every ordinary person to turn into a spy, pitting neighbors against neighbors, friends spying on their friends. This sounds scary, to say the least, and also speaks volumes about how paranoid and insecure the president of China has become. Our next story is from South Korea, a country that seems to be witnessing a deterioration of democratic political culture. I am not the one saying this, certain reports are. To start with, a South Korean governing party lawmaker was recently treated for lacerations at a Seoul hospital. Why? What happened? She was attacked by an unidentified man who repeatedly struck her in the head with a rock. Can you believe that? A governing party lawmaker being attacked with a rock? Of all the places, you would not expect something like this to happen in South Korea. The name of the lawmaker is Bae Hyun-jin. The incident took place in Seoul's district. According to a police official in the area, a suspect was arrested at the scene of the attack. Security camera footage showed the suspect wearing a grey skull cap and a mask, approaching Bae inside the hallway of a building before striking her. He then continued to strike her with the object even after she fell down. Just to let you gauge the scale of this attack, you must know the credentials of the lawmaker. She is a former television news presenter who was elected in the year 2020, and today she is seen as a close confidant of the president, Yoon Suk-yeol. In fact, Yoon's office even issued a statement calling the attack on Bae an unacceptable incident that must be sternly investigated. And what was the motive of this attack, you ask? Well, no one really knows. Interestingly, this is not a standalone incident. Just a couple of weeks earlier, there was another attack. A man stabbed opposition leader Lee Jae-myung in the neck in the southern city of Busan. The attack raised further concerns about the country's intensely polarized politics. The man who attacked Lee told investigators that he wanted to kill him. And why is that? Apparently to prevent him from becoming a future president. Fortunately, Lee was released from the hospital after 8 days of treatment. And as some politicians in the country get attacked, there are also controversies raging around the luxurious lifestyles of some others. Like the First Lady of South Korea, Kim Kyun-hee herself. She is in the eye of the storm for accepting an expensive luxury bag from Dior. And why is that controversial? Well, because it's illegal for public officials in South Korea and their spouses to accept any gift worth more than 1 million won in one go, or a total of 3 million won within a year. The Dior bag in question, by the way, costs 3 million or $2,200. This controversy around the costly fashion item has thrown the ruling party into disarray and threatened the prospects of Yoon Suk-yeol's party in the April election. People have started to seek an explanation from the president about his wife's actions. The country's opposition also stating that the ruling party cannot dismiss the issue. Now, both these controversies, the attacks on the lawmakers and the row over the First Lady's Dior bag have raised questions on where South Korean democracy is heading. Does this indicate a worsening of the democratic political culture in the country? Well, it's up to the people of South Korea to decide that. Our next story is about hermit crabs. You know about these creatures? Well, let me show you what they look like. They have very soft bodies and they cannot grow their own shells. So they borrow it from snails. In fact, they scavenge for these shells and then use them as armors. But lately, something different has been happening. A vast majority of them have stopped looking like what they used to. And the pictures are simply heartbreaking. Take a look. Instead of adorning themselves with beautiful snail shells, these tiny creatures are now using our plastic waste as armors. One was seen using a red bottle cap. Another had a piece of light bulb. So polluted are our water bodies that hermit crabs are adapting to use this waste. According to a study published in the journal Science of the Total Environment, as many as 386 hermit crabs were seen with artificial shells. 386 of them. They belong to 10 out of the 16 species of land hermit crabs. About 85% of them settled for plastic caps. Scientists say that this is something completely out of the ordinary and they don't know yet if it's going to harm the creatures. You see this entire group of hermit crabs had adapted to scavenge and used the discarded snail shells to protect their fragile bodies. And when those shells would be in short supply, the hermit crabs would fight over them. Now that natural snail shells are in decline, the hermit crabs are using plastic ones because that is what is available to them. In fact, they've got a lot of options to choose from because we human beings have released a great deal of plastic in marine environments. A recent study, in fact, estimated that at least 171 trillion pieces of plastic are now floating in our oceans. Imagine that. And if no action is taken, the number could triple by the year 2040. Maybe we should take a lesson from these crabs. Instead of discarding our plastic waste, we should be reusing it so that they don't have to. Time now for a real-life fairy tale. This is Amy Kivitia and Ano Sartania. They are identical twins and they got separated at birth. But they found each other, and you know how that happened. Through a viral TikTok video and a talent show. But the journey to spot each other started in the year 2014. Amy, who one fine evening was engrossed in her favorite TV show, stumbled upon a girl dancing. The girl bore an uncanny resemblance to her, but little did she know that the woman she was looking at was her long-lost sister. And then, almost 7 years later, Ano, who was then 19, was casually scrolling through social media and she came across a video of a girl she thought looked strangely familiar. While she thought that was quite interesting, it also set her off on a mission to track the girl. Ano sought help from her university WhatsApp group and sent out a plea. Immediately, someone in the group chat who was familiar with the girl connected them. Amy instantly knew that Anu was the girl she had watched on her talent on the TV show that she was watching earlier, and messaged her saying that she had been looking for her for so long. And after meeting for the first time on the top of an escalator, they knew that they must be related, but they did not know how. So they reportedly decided to confront their families and ask them what was going on. They then found out that their birth mother had fallen into a coma due to an illness after giving birth, and her husband chose to sell the babies to two different families. And upon waking up, the hospital staff falsely informed their birth mother that the infants had died shortly after birth. The twins then confronted their adoptive families. Both the adoptive mothers said that they were told that the babies that they are adopting are unwanted, and neither of the two had any idea that their daughter had a twin. And following their reconciliation, the twins have been reunited with their birth mother. However, as the twins sought answers regarding their own separation, they also uncovered a shocking reality. They were just two among thousands of babies stolen from Georgian hospitals and sold, with cases reported as recently as 2005. According to a report, the incident took place 2 years ago, in fact, where Amy and Anu met for the first time since their separation 19 years earlier. That's all we have time for in this edition of Gravitas tonight. We're calling it a wrap. Thanks very much for watching. This is me, Molly Gambhir, signing off. Good night.
India's Global Voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America.